noisy group.
Good morning. Welcome to the UU Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We're delighted that you could join us for this service. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Maddie Senaway, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or visitor to our congregation, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about our congregation and to receive our weekly email newsletter. If you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. We welcome children of all ages to our service. For quiet play, we have a children's area here in the sanctuary. For louder activities, we have a nursery just outside the corner entrance to the sanctuary. We also have a comfort room, accessible through the back hallway, from which you can hear and see the service. A gentle reminder to everyone, Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices so that we can enjoy the service uninterrupted by buzzing or ringing. Today's sermon is titled The Solidarity Story of Ruth and Naomi. The biblical story of Ruth and Naomi offers a compelling example of true solidarity and what it means to be committed to being on the side of others who come from backgrounds different from our own, but with whom our ultimate destiny is intertwined. This sermon will examine the meaning of this story for us today. Our opening words were written by Kim Mason. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold or death into life. We laugh, but are we not also in the business of alchemy? Turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, faith into action. The subtle magic of church combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals into community. Here we engage in a holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the present. Come, let us be transformed together. Please join me in saying the words to light our chalice. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice.
Good morning. Our opening hymn is taken from the book of Ruth, Where You Go, I Will Go. And there's just to make things interesting, there's a little clapping pattern that we do as part of this song. And so sometimes it's 2 claps, and sometimes it's 1. And I will hold up a finger or 2, and sometimes it's no claps at all, which will be my fist. But the first service, even though they still had sleep in their eyes from it being so early, eventually got there. And I have great confidence in this group to get there as well. So if you would please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing. Doug's going to play it through once first, and then we'll get there. Start with 2 claps. Here we go. No, not yet. There we go. I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. The song we just sang, Where You Go, I Will Go, is based on a Bible story that has been told for many, many years. It's a story about friendship, love, and loyalty. Let's hear the story of Ruth and Naomi. Once upon a time, long, long ago in a faraway land, there was a famine. A famine is a time when there's not enough food for everyone to eat, and life becomes very, very hard. In this land lived a woman named Naomi. Naomi had moved to a new place with her family, but while she was there, she lost everything, including her husband and her sons. Life became very difficult for Naomi, so she decided it was time to return to her homeland. She began preparing for the long journey and said goodbye to the only family she had left, her daughters-in-law. Naomi loved them very much, but she told them they should go back to their own families instead of traveling with her. One of them, Orpah, hugged Naomi goodbye and left, even as she fought back tears. But the other daughter-in-law, Ruth, made a different choice. Ruth insisted that she would go with Naomi. She would not leave her. Ruth said these words,
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go.
Ruth did not know what they might face on their journey. Maybe there would still be famine. Maybe there would be drought or giants or other scary things. But Ruth knew one thing for sure. Her mother-in-law and her friend, Naomi, needed her. So they traveled together. The journey was long and hard, but they did make it to Naomi's homeland. Life was still difficult sometimes, but they had each other, and Naomi always remembered Ruth's words.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go.
As time passed, Ruth and Naomi were able to begin again in their new home. They rebuilt their lives, they grew their family, they found peace. And their story is still told today, all because Ruth made the brave choice to stay by her friend's side, no matter what. You see, friends, sometimes we face choices like this too. There may be times in our lives when we choose to stand beside someone else, to support them, care for them, or walk with them on a difficult journey. We might not know what that journey will bring. We just know that our hearts are calling for us to go. And sometimes we might be the ones who need someone to say to us,
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go.
Stories like this one of Ruth and Naomi remind us to lead with love always. Because sometimes one loving choice, one brave act of loyalty can change the world. Let's sing it together one more time.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine.
Let's sing the kiddos out and we can keep on going.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine.
shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known, we shall be known, we shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that you thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
This is a time in our service when we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of the congregation. These joys and sorrows may be submitted online from our website or by filling out a form in the entryway to the church. After each joy or sorrow that I share, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." A joy from the Coming of Age and youth groups. The Coming of Age youth group coffee house last night was a blast. Thank you, performers and community members, for a successful event. For everyone who was involved in last night's coffee house, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Ellen Vague. Ellen says, "I'm excited to share that my son Gabriel has been accepted to the Executive Master of Public Policy program at Oregon State University. He'll be attending part-time while continuing to work full-time for the Oregon State Department of Environmental Quality." For Ellen and her son Gabriel, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Lois Brown. Lois says, "Our Soul Matters group is overjoyed. On March 28th, Mount Lebanon hosts a No Kings rally, and we will be there, signs in hand, voices raised. We're gathering on March 21st at Sunnyhill to make our own personal signs, and we welcome all to join us for both events. For Lois and her sharing circle, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from the sharing committee. Nina Balsamo has her beautiful watercolor artwork hanging in the Mount Lebanon Library in the front hallway for the whole month of March. For Nina, we hold you in our hearts. Joy that a sorrow rather, that I submitted. A sorrow that our music director, Mary Pratt, is under the weather today and unable to be with us. But at the same time, a joy that Doug Reichenfeld has stepped in to lead the choir. For Mary and for Doug and for the choir, we hold you in our hearts. Also, a joy that's, in addition, a little bit of a UU miracle. After the storm the other night, as we well know, there were a lot of downed trees and power lines, including one tree in our own yard. If you look over through this window, you see a birch tree that actually did a very polite fall over and landing. There was only the most minor of damage to one of our rain gutters. And it was a birch tree that was already diseased and marked for removal this year. So in the end, it actually turned out to be not a bad thing at all. But I will say for our guys with chainsaws who are going to be out there this week, and for all they do to keep our building and grounds safe and in working order, we hold you in our hearts. We invite anyone who feels moved to do so as we sing our musical meditation to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seats. Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Let us pause to be present to this moment, to this place, to one another, such that the spirit of life might be felt among us. Let us pause for a moment to sense together stirrings of compassion in the emerging shape of justice. Let us pause for a moment of silence to experience just this, just now. May we create space in our lives from which something new might emerge, some new perspective, some new way of understanding, some renewed sense of meaning and purpose. And in this space, may we find healing and wholeness now and always. Amen. As I mentioned in my sermon last week, the Bible is considered the first great work of literature that was written primarily from the point of view of the oppressed rather than the oppressors. In story after story, the Bible explores the plight of those who have been captured and enslaved, those who are widowed or orphaned, those who are forced to leave their native lands as refugees, those who are forced to live on the margins of society for one reason or another. Both the Hebrew Bible and Christian scriptures command us to love the stranger, to show hospitality to people who have been on the outside looking in, to practice being radically welcoming in all that we do. If there is any unifying message throughout the scriptures, it has to do with bringing into being a world in which the marginalized and oppressed are cared for and lifted up and made free, thereby liberating all of us. Despite messages to the contrary from far-right political movements, including the current incarnation of religious nationalism in our country, the Bible teaches over and over again not to cast out the immigrant and the stranger, but to welcome them, to love them, to walk with them, and to work on their behalf. One of my all-time favorite stories from the Bible is the story contained in the book of Ruth. It's a story of loving kindness, of solidarity, of faithfulness in the face of great loss and enormous challenges. The story, as we heard part of earlier, goes something like this. Long ago, there was a drought in the land of Judah, which caused a mass migration of farmers and others who worked the land and the fields. Among those migrants was a couple from Bethlehem, Elimelech and Naomi, who along with their two sons moved to the kingdom of Moab, which was not affected by the drought and which held the promise of a new life, a new beginning for them. They made this move despite the fact that there was a lot of animosity between the Judeans and the Moabites. Once they were settled in Moab, the family worked hard and thrived. They tended to the land and produced crops and acquired livestock and began to rebuild their lives in this foreign country far from their home. When Naomi and Elimelech's sons were grown, they met and married two young Moabite women whose names were Orpah and Ruth. It's at this point in the story that things go horribly wrong. In a short period of time, Elimelech and his two sons all die suddenly and unexpectedly, leaving Naomi alone in the world with her daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth. It's important to understand that in that time and place, women in general and widows in particular had almost no rights and nothing to fall back on when things went wrong. So these three women found themselves without ownership of the land that they and their husbands had tended for years. They found themselves without a livelihood or any source of income. They found themselves suddenly destitute and completely and entirely on their own. The young Moabite daughters-in-law could, of course, remarry and start again with new husbands. But for Naomi, still a stranger in a strange land, a woman now beyond childbearing years, remarrying was not a realistic option. However, according to Jewish law of that time, if Naomi were to return to Judah, and if one of her daughters-in-law were to marry one of Naomi's male relatives, then Naomi could claim part of her daughter-in-law's estate, and she would be taken care of for the rest of her life. So the two younger women were faced with a choice. They could stay in their homeland of Moab and remarry, or they could travel with Naomi to a distant land where they would be outsiders and try to find husbands among Naomi's extended family. One of the two daughters-in-law, Orpah, made what was perhaps the more sensible choice. She chose to stay in Moab and marry a Moabite man. Ruth, however, recognized the dire situation that Naomi faced and chose to go with her to the land of Judah, to accompany her and to become her companion and a member of her family. Even though Naomi urges her to stay in Moab, Ruth famously declares to Naomi, "Do not entreat me to forsake you, to turn back from you. For wherever you will go, I will go. And wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people are my people, and your God is my God." And so the two women travel together back to Naomi's country, where they work for a time as field laborers until Ruth meets and marries Boaz, a distant cousin of Naomi's. And eventually Ruth goes on to become, in time, the great-grandmother of King David. When you really dig into the book of Ruth, what you find is an amazingly rich and complex story. Some of it seems deeply feminist, and some of it reveals the truly ugly misogyny that was, and to a great extent still is, part of society. But there are two aspects of this remarkable story that I would like to hold up and comment on this morning. The first has to do with the kind of love that is expressed in the story. And the second is the role of foreigners and strangers in this story and in the Bible in general. There's a Hebrew word that is woven throughout the story of Ruth. It is chesed. As described by a blogger and Presbyterian minister, Kara Root, it is chesed that drives Ruth to stand with Naomi, that Boaz later shows toward Ruth, and ultimately God's chesed that drives the whole story. Chesed shows up throughout the Psalms and elsewhere in the Bible. It is chesed that sustains the patriarchs and matriarchs in all their blundering and barrenness, chesed that delivers the children of Israel out of Egypt, and chesed that gives them words of life in the wilderness. Chesed is the gift meant to be revealed at Sabbath, studied in Scripture, sung of in worship, and practiced in daily life. Chesed is hidden within the ordinary fabric of life, all life, our lives. It powerfully binds, upholds, and communicates what all of life is about. But what does this word chesed mean? There is not an English word that corresponds exactly with this Hebrew word, of course. It is sometimes translated as loving kindness, but it's also translated in various places throughout the Bible as loyalty, mercy, or simply love. Perhaps the best way of thinking of chesed is as that which compels us to reach out across lines of difference to care for others, to recognize that there is a kind of belongingness that transcends boundaries of religion, boundaries of nations, boundaries of race and ethnicity. It is a sense of chesed that calls us to work for the common good and to look beyond our own narrow self-concern and self-centeredness. It is a sense of chesed that calls us to recognize that our actions affect not just us, but everyone else in our world, especially those who are the most vulnerable among us. It is chesed that calls us toward loving action that protects those who are at most risk in our society, even though it might be inconvenient or tedious for us. Because there is something deeper that connects all to all. It is a concept and a way of living that is particularly relevant for us in our own time. It is more important now than ever before to align ourselves and move in solidarity with people on the margins, those who are most deeply and devastatingly affected by the politics of fear and cruelty that has resulted in senseless acts of violence by government agents in our own streets, armed thugs whose primary purpose is to terrorize immigrants and to intimidate all those who would try to help. The second aspect of the story of Ruth that I want to point out to you today is the way in which it subverts the narrative of the stranger or foreigner as dangerous or undesirable. There is a pattern that appears throughout the Bible of strangers or foreigners who are discriminated against, but who in the end become forces for transformation and for all that is loving and good and loyal. For example, the book of Jeremiah describes people from the land of Uz as evil, but Job, a native of that land, is called the most blameless man on the earth. The Jewish people hated the Samaritans and vice versa, yet it is a Samaritan that Jesus chooses as the hero of one of his parables. And according to the book of Deuteronomy, people from Moab are not to be allowed to dwell among God's people. And yet Ruth, a Moabite woman, not only dwells among the Israelites, but becomes the progenitor of King David and eventually of Jesus. All of these stories begin with exclusion and discrimination and animosity toward the other, but end with welcome, inclusion, acceptance, and love. In fact, in each of these stories, the person considered a foreigner or stranger becomes the agent of transformation that saves the day for everyone. We would do well to remember this pattern. What saves us is not exclusion and divisiveness. What saves us is inclusion and openness, always. The story of Ruth is one of deep and abiding solidarity. It's a story of hesed, of the spirit of belongingness that transcends all boundaries. It is a story of moving from separateness toward unity and a lived sense of oneness, especially with those at the margins. Our religious tradition, Unitarian Universalism, is based largely on the idea of walking together. That's a phrase that occurs in many of the covenants that have existed in our congregations starting in the 1600s and continuing to our present day. That phrase has an open-endedness to it. It's not walking together only with those who agree with our particular point of view, and it's not walking in lockstep. Walking together in our context implies fluidity and movement, not rigidity and remaining fixed in one spot. It also implies togetherness, not so much as a melting pot into monolithic oneness, as much as a togetherness that enables us to explore those spaces in between. As Unitarian Universalists, our task is not to pound everybody into our way of thinking or believing. It's not to make everybody have a single political or theological identity. That may be true of other traditions, but not ours. As Unitarian Universalists, our task is to protect and point to those spaces between and among us, to encourage us to explore those places where transformation and solidarity can begin to take place. Our task is to become radically welcoming to all in such a way that fosters this experience of solidarity. If this concept is true within our congregations, it's also true in our work in the larger world. There are ways of serving our community and our world that can keep us isolated and reinforce separate identities. And there are other ways of working in our community that can lead us toward those empty spaces where we can start to build solidarity. In the weeks and months to come, I hope and pray that our actions will be guided by the spirit of Ruth, by an attitude of transforming solidarity, by a commitment to work for the good of all and not just some. May it be so. Amen. We invite you to rise in body and or spirit once more and join in singing our hymn, One More Step.
Take one.
Please be seated.
Our Share the Plate beneficiary for the month of March is the Collaborative for Immigrant Impact. The Collaborative is a group of 18 organizations that work together to defend the international community in our region, support one another, and find innovative ways to preserve the diversity that enriches our neighborhoods, schools, and economy. You can make a gift online on our website or by text at 412-324-3130. We'll be passing our offering baskets for cash and checks in just a moment. If you're writing a check, please make it out to UUCSH and put Share the Plate in the memo line. Thank you for your generosity. Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
A couple of announcements before our closing words. The first one is about our Sunnyhill service auction, which is coming up.
Hello, I'm Tanya Chotani. I'm one of the auction leaders this year. And a few reminders, as you see behind me, the date of the auction is Saturday, April 11th, and early bird tickets are on sale until next Sunday at $25 a piece. Then they are going to increase till $40, but maybe more importantly, there are fewer than 50 tickets remaining. So I really encourage you, if you intend to go to the auction, to buy your tickets this week. You can buy tickets online via the Beat or Sunnyhill's website or between services and Fellowship Hall. The theme is black and gold and all things Pittsburgh, as you can see by what I'm dressed as. You can dress up in elegant black and gold evening wear or dress down in Pittsburgh sports jerseys, whatever your choice. Pierogies will be served. If you want to sample the rest of the Pittsburgh-themed menu, you're going to have to buy a ticket and find out what's on the menu, because that's the only tease I'm going to give you. Number 3, donations. The auction takes all of us. It is a service auction after all. And as it says behind me, they are due by April 4th. However, if you are intending to donate, if you can please go to the website and put in what donation you are thinking of so we have an idea of how many donations we're going to get a little bit earlier, that would be great. So think about what you can give back to Sunnyhill, host a party, offer a service, make a basket, or offer another unique gift. If you are struggling to come up with ideas, please see the bulletin board in Fellowship Hall or one of us on the team for ideas. All donations, as I said, should be put on the auction website. And if you need help with the auction website, let us know. You can also email us and we can input those. So remember, buy your tickets, make your donations, and come hungry. So in the spirit of solidarity that we learned about today and inclusion, we're all going to say 3 times, pierogies, 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 and then go Sunnyhill. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pierogies, pierogies, pierogies. Go Sunnyhill. Thank you.
You learn so much about people over the years, and like Tanya Chitani's cheerleading skills are just really next level kinds of things, which is great. The other announcement that I wanted to make is that we have an environmental justice series that's coming up that Bob Hedden told us about last week. For more information or to register for this 4-part series, you can go, there's a link on our website. There's also a QR code on our screen that you could scan to find out more information. For now, we'll close with these words from Jane Rzepka. When all is quiet and we are small and the night is dark, may we hear the tender breathing of all who lie awake with us in fear, that together we may gather strength to live with love and kindness and confidence. Go in peace.